touching base with you today, and I wanted to talk with you a little bit about one of my favorite career books. And it's actually a really unusual book, and it might read backwards in your screen, but it's Johnny Bunko, The Last Career Guide You'll Ever Need. And believe it or not, it's a short graphic novel, graphic meaning it's like a cartoon, and it's written by one of my favorite authors, a guy named Daniel H. Pink, P-I-N-K. But my reason for sharing that today is there is a lesson in Johnny Bunko. And the lesson actually gives us a good roadmap today to follow in our conversation. And essentially what I'd like us to think about is when we launched into a career back in the day, we maybe had a plan. Maybe some of you didn't have a plan. I don't know. But the thing I want you to think about in the first lesson from Johnny Bunko is there is no plan. So even though you plan to work for that employer for the next 10 years, or maybe you planned to have a different experience in your career than you are right now, there is no plan. It's really up to you to create the plan that works right for you. And if there's been changes, my mentor, Jack Canfield, just reminded me once, well, during the pandemic, that disappointment is when you have an appointment with the future that the future doesn't keep. And for many of us at this stage of our careers, we're not on plan, and it feels awkward to be in that place. So if we're feeling disappointed, we need to realize that it's just an appointment with the future, that for whatever reason the future isn't keeping. So it goes back to there is no plan, it's up to you. The next, and this is so totally relevant and really hard to do sometimes, but it's think strengths, not weaknesses. In other words, often William and I will hop on a coaching call with y'all, and we start hearing about what didn't work and why not this and why not that. And there's all sorts of conversation around, well, I can't do that because. And the bottom line is you need to think about what your strengths are and lean into those rather than your weaknesses. So what is the story that you would be crafting about yourself that's based on your strengths? And that's part of the reason that we spend so much time in our conversations talking about what skills do you want to use. All right, the third thing from Johnny Bunko is it's not about you. And that's really hard to believe in the moment when it is you revising your resume, and it is you putting together your 30-second pitch, and it is you who's preparing for an interview. But the important thing is it's about them and how you will be a fit for them. And it goes back to the concept in your resume. We don't want to know what your responsibilities are. We want to know what you did with your responsibilities. So what do you do that fits the needs that they have? So it is about them and not you. And the likelihood of you getting a job is all about them. All right, the next is persistence trumps talent. And I think we all have enough experience that we've observed those in our work lives. And certainly I've observed those who we've supported through this program. And the most talented people aren't necessarily the ones who are the most successful. It's those who are the most persistent. And that means day in, day out, meeting yourself in your calendar, realizing that this is up and down, up and down, up and down. That's how a job campaign goes. And there's weeks where you feel great about it, and then there's weeks where you don't feel great about it. There's days where you feel great about it. There's days you don't feel great about it. There's half days, there's mornings where the job campaign's going great, and then you have that one conversation and it all seems to go away. But if you remember that persistence trumps talent, that should keep you on track and focused on doing what's the most important. And if you ever get confused, go back to your checklist. Go back to where you should be in your checklist and say, all right, what do I need to do next? Because that's your guide. That's your go-to resource. All right, the other thing I want you to think about is make excellent mistakes. Y'all, we all make mistakes. Mistakes is a part of life. Mistakes is a part of being human. Mistakes are those things that happen when we thought we were going to do it the right way. And what happens when you make mistakes that you can learn from? You learn and you fall forward. And William talks about that when we talk about the work of Dr. John Maxwell. You want to fall forward in terms of your failures. You want to fall forward in terms of your mistakes. And that's true in a job campaign too. So if you're in an interview, for example, a screening interview, and you don't feel like you answered well practice that answer when you get off, or make some notes to yourself about what you would do next time differently. And be sure and commit that to your prep before you have another interview, so you don't make the same kind of mistake again. So what I want you to hear in that is, again, make excellent mistakes and be sure that what comes from those mistakes is memorable enough that you can take away excellent learning. The last thing in this story that I'm telling today is leave an imprint. And that's true in your job campaign in terms of relationship building, and that's true in terms of interviews when you're, again, creating relationships, but you're also sharing your secret sauce. Because that's part of what happens in a job campaign as well, is that we create these personal branding tools. We personally brand ourselves for the marketplace. And what that means is we talk about the imprint that we make, that the difference that we make, the problems that we solve, the resources that we bring to the companies that we serve. And so think about what you do, your contribution at work, as something that's sustaining. And it's sustaining for the company. Why? Because it makes a difference to their bottom line. It makes a difference to the people that they serve. It makes a difference whether we're serving customers or other businesses. What you do makes a difference. So make an imprint and realize what that imprint is, and be willing to talk about it as you talk about yourself in your job campaign. So with that said, I wish you all a great rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you very soon, and have a great day. Take care.